All right. Good morning. It's another day, Thursday, November 13th. Here we go. Simple life philosophy. Just trying to keep things simple, trying to change my life, trying to do things that, hopefully will get me to a place where I'm, fulfilled. I just feel life has been kind of a bit of a struggle for me, but it's all my own doing, and it's because I've always gone after cheap dopamine. I've struggled with addiction, all sorts of different types of addiction too, not just like one thing. It's like I one thing usually kind of takes over my life, and then I find something else that to take over that, and it's been basically my whole life has just been jumping addictions to different ones, and this is a pleasure chasing hedonistic lifestyle, and it's something that I think our culture almost indoctrinates us or programs us to be, because we we just throw all the images. We create media that just trigger our brain. We create foods that trigger our brain. Um, you know, when it comes to food, it's fat, salts, and sugar, and what are a lot of processed foods made of? And then not only that, they come up with these other chemicals like MSG that also kind of keep this firing in our brain and creates these cravings that we want more, and then it just creates another cycle of addiction. When it comes to food, I think we're all addicted to something at the end of the day. I mean, unless you're a monk in Tibet, you know, um, and not living in modern day culture, it's really hard not to be addicted to something. Obviously, I think that having a family can really curb that a lot, because then you have really high priorities. It's really, I mean, at the end of the day, it's just like, what do you prioritize in your life? And if you have children, you have a spouse. I feel like you at least have a little bit more of a foundation, whereas a single folks, it's a little bit more difficult. Not to say it's difficult, but also that you don't have the there's also easier. It's also easier. Everything is a paradox, I think, but I think that it's if you're on that addiction path, it's a little bit harder though, to fix your life. But um, if you're on the path of higher consciousness, I think it's a little bit easier to stay on that path if you're single in a way, because um, you don't have as many variables in your life. Whereas with children and a spouse, there's just a lot more going on. There's a lot more variables, so things can throw you off track. Things can happen at any moment. Where you have to, you could be meditating and be in a great state, and then boom, like kid breaks your arm or something. It's something dramatic could happen, and then you got to drop everything and take care of it. So I don't know. Everything has its advantages and disadvantages, but I think the bottom line is our society and culture do not make it easy to live on that, quote unquote righteous path, the higher conscious path, and that's all I'm trying to find. It's been difficult for me. I've always, it, I'm proud that I'm sticking with this content journey, because I was saying it for a long time. That, oh, I need to create content. I need to create content. Well, now I'm doing it, and but there's a lot of other things in my mind that I'm also still saying that I'm not doing. And at least with creating content, it's I think my inner self is like calling myself out a little bit more, and it's like, you need to get your s together here, because the last thing I want to be is a hypocrite. I want to be honest with myself and honest with others. And if you're not living the life that your true self, your inner self, your highest self um, wants to pursue, then you're betraying yourself. That's a lot of selves. Um, and so, yeah, that's just the path that I'm on. And I think what it comes down to is just constantly transforming yourself, constantly evolving yourself. And it can be difficult because there's just so many forces in our society and culture today that are competing. I mean, just look economically, and then also health wise. It's like you could do everything right health wise, but then all of a sudden, maybe it's a food or that you think that is being healthy, but then the way they package it has a lot of toxins in it, and you're getting sick, and you don't know what's going on. It That's the problem. I think capitalism, we have to like praise it for getting us here, but I think that is a big problem with it sometimes, is that it just incentivizes people to cut corners. And look, yeah, you want to be efficient for sure, but when it comes to products like food, when it comes to things like healthcare, for example, where insurance companies are incentivized to decline, benefits, and these CEOs get big raises when they can, alter the rules or alter like the legal documentation to for them to be able to get away with that type of stuff. They get rewarded, and and that's what the shareholders want to see, and they're like, yay, But at the end of the day, who's suffering, And I don't know. I think we're just turning into a more and more sick country, and so it's just, and I see it in myself, and I think that's where, that's why I kind of wanted to create content and figure things out a little bit more, just not only for myself but for other people, and hopefully, I can help others, and in that way, bring fulfillment, and actually, fulfill some service to this world. I hope my life has some sort of meaning. Obviously, I think the people around me, my friends and family, of course, see a lot of meaning in my life, and I bring my presence. I think brings them joy and all that. But other than that, I want to have a more broader impact, and just kind of see where it leads me, because this 9 to 5 grind is just not it. Like, it's just not, like, I've just never have felt fulfilled doing it. I don't feel like I'm contributing anything. And it's always just been a struggle for me. I'm not good at office politics. I mean, I'm kind of dealing with that right now. I like, they have the kind of like the in crowd and things with politics, or politics with in the office, and I don't know. You just got to feel left out. There's a few people that are inclusive and want to include me in things, but it's also kind of maybe the nature of the position that I have, because I'm quote unquote a temp, and I'm trying to get a full time position, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know. No one's really taking me under their wing. Like, no one's really training me. Everything that I need to I have to be proactive, really proactive to find out anything, and really proactive to learn. And it's just kind of like, man, this is like kind of draining, But it is what it is. I just try to every day. I just show up and try to be positive. Of course, I hear a lot of office gossip. Anytime I hear it, I get up and leave. I don't want to be part of that conversation. Like, when people start talking trash with other people, I'm like, I didn't want to get involved. Like, I think a few years ago, 10 years ago, for sure, I would have got involved, or I would have, had my ear perked up, and wanted to listen to what's going on, and be involved in the gossip. But nowadays, man, I'm just so over it all. Like, I'm just so over it all. And I don't know. I'm kind of proud of myself in that way, but also it does kind of, you feel a little left out also, because information is power, right? And having more information definitely helps you out, helps you kind of figure out the dynamic of things and whatever. But yeah. Anyway, that's kind of my rant today. It's always so funny when I'm like get talking. Sometimes I'm like, I really get down on myself. Like, oh man, I'm not really a big talker. I've always kind of been kind of a shy, introverted person. But man, it's like I'm at 9 minutes. I'm like, I can't believe I can talk that long. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I really always appreciate any type of view I get. Many blessings to you. Much love. You guys have a wonderful day.